we're going to discuss about audit principles. So what is audit actually, sir?
This is a basically kind of we are validating.
The different type of audits. Can you just share the viewpoint about different type of audits?
Yeah, so audit can be of three types: first party, second party, and the third party.
So how to become an auditor and what should be the ideal timeline to become an auditor to get a job?
You need to understand how a technology works at a high level.
What is structured learning to become an auditor?
So certification always helps.
Like if someone is want to look for the career in GRC audit, so how can we crack the first job? Yeah.
And they need to understand that domain very well.
If someone want to learn how to conduct an audit, what is the step?
We discuss about the planning, how to do the planning of the audit.
But is it an audit as a sustainable career option if I'm looking for my retirement? How critical is the report formatting? How critical is the language we use in reports?
So language should not be pinpointing to people.
Example?
You cannot say, okay, like this particular guy or this particular team is not working correctly.
And sir, like when it comes to the audit perspective, if someone is looking to crack the first job, so how to get a first job in a GRC audit? Like if someone is want to look for the career in GRC audit, so how can we crack the first job? Yeah.
So again, which the kind of domain they want to get into. For example, cybersecurity, business continuity, data privacy, kind of service management, and they need to understand that domain very well.
Okay.
Because you are going to conduct an audit, and you need to understand how this kind of domain, what are the specifics of this domain. Fine. If you understand, if it is cybersecurity, you should understand cybersecurity processes, controls end to end. May not be the practical implementation of it, but if you don't even know that there's something called patching, there's something called capacity management, there's something called configuration management, if you don't even understand that, you're not fit for the job. Fine. But if you understand, yes, these are the controls that should be in place in this particular domain, fine, you're good enough. And if you can go for the certification of the lead auditor or auditor, internal auditor, and fair enough.
That's great. So, sir, like when it comes to requirement of implementation, learning, and everything, how do you see the audit as a career, and what do you see, like as a emerging technologies there, like AI, data privacy, advanced computing, and all that? So, how do you see that auditor has to upgrade his knowledge? Like, does he need to involve, add some new elements to the learning, or can we go for something, a traditional way of doing an audit?
So the method of the audit will remain same, but yes, any new developments of the industry, even if you're working in the industry as a kind of a administrator or developer, you need to know, and as auditor also you need to know.
Okay.
When any new developments, you have to keep yourself like updated with the developments in the industry. Fine. And from the auditor perspective, like you also may need to understand the recent threats and the exposures. Fine. So you can ask questions. Okay, this particular vulnerability was discovered. Okay, was there any impact on your organization? Fine. Okay, then how you dealt with that particular threat? Fine. So that type of questions you can ask.
Okay.
And so if you are updated with that knowledge, then we can ask the right questions.
Okay.
Audit is a kind of a second level career, not a first level career. Fine. You need to first know the industry. You need to first have some experience in the industry. Then only you can look for the like making your career as auditor. Because if you are going as a fresher, you don't know how the thing works, and you will not be able to put the right questions. Fine. It's don't if somebody is looking for the career as an auditor, fine. In the technical domains, particularly, I will say like not the right start point.
Very good point. And if I'm going to post this clip, there will be a lot of scholars going to put on comment on this, but it's but hard and fact things.
But this is practical.
Yeah, it's the same like if you know how to cook food, then only you know the smell of the like if you want to audit someone's food, you should know the smell of the food. If you're going to eat first time, you don't know what is the taste, right? So same like with process audits also. Until and as you don't know, like change management has a sequences, and this is the step-by-step process, you can't do the audit. because you need to have the
You try
quality.
cooking something what you have tasted.
Exactly.
You can validate, yes, this is the right taste or not.
Agree, agree, agree. So, sir, but last thing I want to ask you is, but is it an audit as a sustainable career option if I'm looking for my retirement?
It is a very good option for the retirement because
Okay.
later in the your professional journey, fine, you have enough knowledge, enough maturity, fine, to work as auditor,
Okay.
fine, and because there are organizations will look for the freelancers like kind of independent auditors,
Hmm.
and you have lots of opportunities in the market to work as the independent auditors,
Okay.
and I see this as a retirement plan. Fine. And many people adopt this as a retirement plan. Many people, after retiring from a full-time job, they become an auditor. Right. So there are many retired people who enter into the audit field after retirement because they can work for maybe 2 3 days in a week, and
Hmm.
they can still get a handsome income. And see, retirement is not sitting idle at home. Right? You will keep doing something. Fine. So,
Agree.
and but you do it at your own will. Fine. You're not in a pressure that morning 9 o'clock you have to be in the office.
Hmm.
When you may decide your own, okay, these 3 days I will work. Yes, when I work, I will go at 9 o'clock in the office. But I can decide, okay, I will want to work only 2 days in a week. So you are engaged, you're earning, and you're also like having like your free time for yourself and the family.
That's why I ask, like when you're talking about, a lot of people say, okay, if you're looking, people are saying that, okay, Prab, I don't want to do no operational jobs and all that, it's like 7 days working, we cannot predict. Okay. So that's why I thought I will ask you this, like how this career can be like, do we have
It's a very good
a career
career for,
perspective? Hmm.
yes, for later in life because you can make a like good income after
Hmm.
retirement as well as auditor.
Okay. Okay. So like I just want to understand one important thing is that if someone want to learn how to conduct an audit, so what is the steps in
Okay,
detail?
so
Yeah.
when it comes to like conducting an audit, fine, from the like kind of the audit on the audit day itself, fine.
Hmm.
So we discuss about the planning. How do we do the planning of the audit? Fine, we schedule the audit and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Then on the audit day, we start with the opening meeting.
Okay.
Right. So a opening meeting is again it can be a formal if it is external audit. Find that everyone, all the auditees and auditors are in a one room and we talk about some other audit. And in a if it is internal audit, fine, it can be one to one because there you are going to conduct audit for a particular function.
Okay.
Fine. So it can be like the external audits are more formalized. Internal audits are more informal. Fine. In terms of the opening meeting, closing meeting stuff. Fine.
Okay.
So for any particular, take the audit as a project. Fine. Whenever you go for the project, you have a project kickoff meeting.
Hmm.
Same is in the terms of audits, it's a opening meeting. In the
Okay.
opening meeting, we talk about what the why we are here.
Hmm.
Fine. We are here for the audit. Fine. So we want to make sure that everyone in the room is on the same page in terms of what the objective of the audit is, what the scope of the audit is, what the criteria of the audit is, and what is the schedule of the audit. Schedule means in the first half we'll do the audit for the ISMS maybe. In the second half we'll do for the HR. If there are multiple auditors, which auditor will work with which team at what date, what time.
Okay.
And what time we'll again gather, maybe have a lunch together. What time the auditors will sync up, maybe 30 minutes or 60 minutes in the evening after every auditor has uh, done for the day. And they kind of give the heads up to the lead auditor.
Okay.
Find that what are the findings of the day, observations of the day. Then that's the audit schedule basically. So in the opening meeting, the purpose of the opening meeting is to have a clear communication about again audit objective, scope, and criteria. Fine, and uh, be clear and be on the kind of the schedule so that the stakeholders can make sure they are available or somebody on their behalf is available.
Okay.
And we also communicate what will be our audit approach. And approach again is a kind of a intent, implementation, and effectiveness. Fine. What will be the audit language, audit channels, fine, the communication channels and all that can also be covered.
Okay.
Again, it's particularly if you are going to the audit where like the your mother tongue is not the language which is spoken there, then you have to make sure that they arrange the people who can communicate with you. And if that conversation is not possible, you will not be able to conduct the audit. Fine. We also emphasize on the confidentiality, that anything what we gather, what we understand, what we learn, the auditors learn on the on site, and that will remain confidential. And then we
Okay.
can open the room for any question answers. That's how the opening meeting is conducted.
Okay.
Then when it comes to carrying out the audit, fine, you will have your own checklist.
Hmm.
Fine. So that again, like coming out to be there, like you have the questions about how a person can do the audits. I only pointed out, okay, that there are controls says everything. The policy need to be documented, approved, communicated, and acknowledged. Fine. But this is one control, and there are definitely like hundreds of controls that you audit against. So those controls should be distributed among the audit team. For example, there are three auditors, right? So there's one guy might be having a better understanding of the technical controls. So we'll give all the technical controls he will be auditing. Other non-technical, maybe physical security, HR, and the supplier security can be connected by the other auditors. So that's where you can also mix and match the knowledge and domain of the
Okay.
audit. Then those checklists need to be there, right, against which you will conduct the audit. Then auditor should also be making the audit notes, right? And once the audit is completed, whatever observations and findings are, right, each and every observation and finding has to be on paper, right?
Okay.
Auditor's job should also be auditable,
Okay.
right? So, and this is the requirement for certification audits as well. So, any audit you conduct, you have to conduct the audit in a way that you capture the references to the documents, references to the people, when date, time, location, that what as evidence which was looked into to make this opinion.
Example. An example. Can you correlate this?
Yeah. Probably I can show you some of the sample sheets what we use, and again, don't take it as it is, because some of them are quite fancy and quite detailed.
Hmm.
Fine, and some of them are like, I will show you the different varieties. Fine, you
Okay.
can go to the kind of very detailed sheets as well. You can have a very simplistic approach as well.
Hmm.
So let me share my screen. So this is one sample, like where we have some element of automation, and it is very detailed,
Hmm.
fine, and we are auditing against the compliance as well as maturity,
Hmm.
fine. So this may look very complicated to the beginners, fine. So, but yes, this is the beauty of the audit manager, like how what tools basically they provide to their team. As a beginner, you will not be like on your own, fine. You will definitely start with like kind of as a support in the audit
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
So there we have the different domains. For example, let's pick up the domain of HR, fine. So what are the controls we have for HR? Let's say like this is about screening, find the background verification of all candidates, fine, to be done. So who is the auditee here? We need to capture the name of the person, fine. Then audit notes, what your observations are, find any references. If they're showing the policy or procedure or document, you have to show, like you have to write down, okay, that this is the HR policy, find version 3.2, for example, fine. Then how do you find the document was like adequate, inadequate, fine, it was partially covering the requirements of, it is not even, you could not see the evidence, fine, document was not there, fine. So that way you can give the ratings. And how well that you find the implementation. If the process says that the background check has to be conducted within 30 days, fine,
Mhm.
or 30 days is too long basically. Um, Fine. So maybe like whatever the specifics are, and depending on the organization, you have to see whether it is partially achieved, fully achieved. Fine. Based on that, you can create your own kind of this. You can fill up the sheets basically.
ठीक है.
Fine. And you can also fill up the how mature the process is at the ML3 level, ML4 level, ML5 level. And once you fill up these sheets, you will see the scores in the dashboard will change,
Sir,
and it will also keep
the,
telling
the,
you
the control, sorry to interrupt here, the controls that you have taken as a reference point, it is based on
mhm.
ISO 27001 or
This
what
is
is
another
it?
one. If you look at the top of the sheet, this is 27,001.
Okay. So you have taken the control benchmark from 27001.
Yeah. This is entirely what the 27,001 says.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a copy paste of, we can say, that control.
Okay. We can take in from an extra.
Yes.
Okay.
Fine. And it starts with the like clause 4 to clause 10. If you look at the context of the organization,
Mm-hmm.
fine, understanding the international parties and their expectations and
Mm-hmm.
the scope and all. Fine. It's nothing but the 27,001 basically.
Okay. But in
So you will
ITGC
keep,
also we can same benchmark.
yes, yes, yes. See,
Okay.
ITGC is like every single framework defines the controls. You can pick up the controls, and more or less the controls has the same like kind of intent.
Okay.
Fine. So this is one example. So where we are auditing for the maturity as well as compliance. So
Mm-hmm.
this is another example, a more simplistic version where we are talking about only the uh, kind of, again, this is 2701,
Mm-hmm.
right? Again, the auditee, who is the auditee here? What are the audit notes? Any references? Fine. And what is your what is your opinion about it? Whether the implementation has a conformity, requires improvement? Is there any observations? Or there is non-conformity? And you
Okay.
can have that, and based on that it will populate the dashboard, and this dashboard clearly you can from copy here and paste in the audit report as well as in the closing meeting. Then third,
How long it take you to build this dashboard?
oh, this is not a like one day work. So if you look at this one, like probably this would have taken like, it is a version 4 of my sheet basically. So
Hmm.
it has matured over time.
No, but I'm talking about the graphical formula integrations and all that.
That that doesn't take much time, because if you understand Excel, fine, that doesn't
Hmm.
take much time.
So do you have any
And
video reference that who like, if some, definitely, because when you're working in the audit side and all that, you should be good with Excel also, right?
no,
Because
that's what my point was. The third sheet I was showing, if that looks very complicated to you, you can have the audit worksheet as simple as this as well.
hmm.
Fine, where you only have the audit reference, for example, a client, or the like any engagement reference, objective, scope, criteria you define, then date, time, and location of the audit you're conducting. You're conducting auditing for example, HR. Fine, who is the auditor, who is auditee, what is the control area you're auditing, what is the control
Hmm.
ID you're auditing. Fine, then
Hmm.
you can just pick up the audit notes and give the reference. This reference is very important,
Hmm.
because without putting the references from where you're forming this opinion, fine, your audit is not auditable.
Understood.
Fine. So this is how we create the check. So again, this is just an audit notes. Fine. So this is a combination of audit notes as well as the checklist.
Okay.
Fine. And this is basically when we are conducting audit for the compliance as well as maturity. Fine. So this is
Okay.
having more elements. And the way I have built this sheet is you can have multiple standards integrated into this basically. So at
Okay.
the end, we have the references to multiple standards. So starting is the 27001, and then we can add more standards as well. So this is again is a one part of a larger sheet I have.
Okay. And sir, when you're talking about the requirement of integrations and everything, okay. So one thing we need to understand is how we validate that. So if you take that context, if you take that reference, so audit
Mhm.
sheets and all that. So what is the experience is required when it comes to the audit sheet?
See, you need to understand, you need to have some experience to build this audit checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Without having experience, it's again, if you just copy paste the controls, fine, I can do this because I understand the nitty-gritties of the control.
Hmm.
Fine, but it may not be like for the junior staff, you may want to give them the specific questions.
Hmm. I agree.
Fine. For example, is the policy documented? Is the policy approved by management?
Hmm.
Is the policy communicated? Is the policy published or located at a common location where people can refer to? Fine. Is the policy being acknowledged? Is the policy communication made at least once in a year? Fine. Is the policy acknowledged being made once in a year? Fine. That type of detailed questions you can put. So it
Understood.
depends upon the like to whom you are for whom you are getting the this checklist. You will put in the details accordingly.
Okay. That was why my question is, creating a checklist is always a challenge. So it is
So
always a
if
pain, sir.
yeah, for the beginners will not be expected to create a checklist.
Uh,
Beginners would be expected to follow the checklist.
Understood.
Fine. And my perspective of showing these three levels for like you can have as detailed as this one. This is intermediate, fine, and this is very simplistic. So if you have
Understood.
nothing, you can have your notes written this way as well. And all the three are valid, accepted standards in the industry.
Okay. And sir, when I talk about the key areas that we consider about audit workbook and all that. So apart from that, do we need to include anything else, data and all that?
No, you'll have this. So after you conduct the audit, or fill up the sheets, you come up with some conclusion with like how many conformities, non-conformities are there. For example, here it is these many five conformities for ISM, for information security, four opportunities of improvement, six observations, seven non-conformities. Fine. So
Mm,
this once you come up with this, you have to put this into the closing meeting and the report.
okay.
Fine. This is all just a dummy data because the sheet is blank. Just to populate the dashboard. If I'll make it blank, the dashboard will also go. If I just remove
Okay.
this, the
And
it will have the
if
information.
someone want to learn this dashboard, okay, definitely Excel sheet is required. But
There
ideally,
are
how it's
many Excel training videos available on YouTube.
uh, because
You
that is
need to
also
have some picture in mind. Okay, what you want to create. Then your creativity begins with that imagination.
understood. That
And
that was
so,
my question because having that
mm,
integration part and all that now. So this dashboard is a really like because I have seen in GRC the most important part is documentation, how you
how do
create.
you present? Yeah, how do you present?
So that was the perspective.
How do you present? And I created this dashboard in a way that we should also know that how far we have completed. For example, we answered only one control in HR domain. So HR
Hmm.
domain is 10% completed.
Hmm.
Right? And overall audit is 0.63% completed after
Hmm.
answering that one question.
Hmm.
Right? So we can also see that how we are progressing. And that also we can see.
And this focus unit compliance area, when you say how you organize, like, is it a common uniformity that we follow in all the audits? Like business continuity, we need to include business operation, we need to include facility, we need to include. Are we considering all these factors?
So if you look at these are all standard ISMS expectations.
Hmm.
ISMS has the element of business continuity. We could talk
Hmm.
about redundancy and all.
Hmm.
Fine. And it has a business operations, facilities means the physical facility, HR equipment, information security, IT
Okay.
application, desktop network. These are
Okay.
all the standard. If you look at the standard domains.
Okay. So, sir, once we done with this, we prepare the report, right? Or we submit,
Yes.
share
So
the
we
draft with
prepare
the
the
audit team.
report. Report I have for one more like in one more style basically. Fine. So
Hmm.
this is a report of a maturity assessment of based on
Hmm.
NAST CSF.
It's a confidential.
Cybersecurity framework. So it's a confidential because when you report, even these sheets
No,
need
no.
to be
This
confidential.
report is confidential, or
No, no, this is like I removed all the details. Fine,
okay,
so
okay,
generalized it. Fine.
okay, okay.
So this is like a sample assessment report where I have
Hmm.
removed all the details. Fine.
Hmm.
So you will have the date, fine, who conducted this. Fine.
Hmm.
Then again, and first you will have the confidentiality notice in the report that
Hmm.
this report may fall in wrong hands, so they should not proceed, they should not store. Then a table of content, right? And before this is how the report will look like. You will write introduction of this document,
Hmm.
and then you will write the objective of the audit, scope of the audit, criteria of the audit.
Okay.
Right. So the audit criteria for this is NAST CSF 2.0.
Hmm. Okay.
Then duration from what date time to what date time like this audit was conducted. Fine. You can also include the locations and all. Then
And those who are
audit
watching
team.
this podcast, do let us know in comment box. Shall we pull Rahul sir again for the next audit? and its implementation.
Okay, so this is the like who are the auditors,
Hmm.
who are the auditees, and then limitations, because audit is sampling based exercise. We provide some kind of disclaimer that this is
Hmm.
sampling based exercise. More positive and negative findings may exist, right, which may might not have been come out in this exercise.
Hmm.
Then retention, any evidences you collect, fine, any reports that you audit notes you are making, how long you will retain. So like the company or the client may come back to you maybe in next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, ask for more information. After that you will remove, you will delete all that data what you create for this
Okay.
exercise. Then is a executive summary for the management. Fine, I can reduce the zoom level so that you can see. So this is the executive summary. What is the maturity level out of ML4? The maturity level was identified as 3.50, and 3.50 is also coming out of the six domains. So start with governance, which
Hmm.
stands at 3.67%, 3.54 this way. So again, this is a part of the executive summary itself. Like in the govern function, these are the domains, fine, and so these are the categories, and this is the score of each category.
Okay.
So govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And this is the maturity analysis of each of these six domains.
So I was about to discuss this part is how we can categorize in NIST this maturity level. Like, are we talking about based on some metrics we take, or what exactly it is?
Yes. So there are maturity models like C2M2. I think
C two
yeah,
M
right?
two. Okay.
Yes. So that was taken in picture here. But
What is
yes,
full form? What is full form?
C2M2, it's a cybersecurity maturity model.
Acha, cybersecurity maturity model. Sherry. Okay. Hmm.
Uh, Fine. Then is again, if you want to have some discussion on the maturity model that we can take up separately, and some of the this is not taken as it is. C2M2 is not taken as it is. It was tweaked based on the requirement.
Understood. And the cybersecurity maturity model framework is freely available to download, or we
Yes,
need to.
yes, yes, yes. You can download.
Okay.
Then is a summary of recommendations.
Hmm.
Again, so now till here it was divided in six domains of NIST. Then it is divided in four domains of people, process, technology, and physical security.
Okay.
Fine. And then because we have to work accordingly. Fine. So technology requires investment, process requires fine tuning, fine. People requires training, fine. And physical security is separate domain altogether.
True.
So the detailed report was created in this way, like this is what the observation is, this is what the recommendation is, fine, what is the severity, and this is the reference in the NIST. So this GVRR, fine, is a governance basically, fine, all is being mapped here, what this GVRR and all this tax means. Fine, so GVRR is the roles, responsibilities, and authorities in the
Okay.
governance, the governed domain.
Okay.
Fine. So this is like the way this report is being created, and then like further steps, fine, what you recommend organization to take this, how to take this forward, and any like those jargons what is used in this, fine. So there's a terms and definitions section.
Excellent.
This is the end of the report. So this is how we this is one sample of the report, fine, one sample of a detailed dashboard, a simple dashboard, a simple worksheet, fine, and a report.
And that's why I say security start with keep it simple.
It depends upon like again the expectation of the client, fine, internal, external, where internal audit can be more simple, fine. In the internal audit you can probably have published this dashboard as well, okay, this is the
Hmm.
score, fine. But for the external audit, you will, the management and the client will expect a report in a PDF form, fine, not in the Excel sheet.
Agree. And it also depends, like Big Fours basically have more fancy dashboards and all that because they have to present in the format which look lucrative and all that, right?
So you have
Because
to justify the cost basically.
exactly.
Okay, so I
So
think I can close this.
yeah.
And finding and observation is for the organization.
Okay.
Fine. In this particular domain, in this particular control, fine. Don't pinpoint anywhere in the audit exercise. Do not pinpoint any individual, any team,
Hmm.
because many times the audit outcome is not seen positively. and
Okay.
then they become the target. This happens basically, fine. And also I also will share some of the experiences, fine. Who is engaging you as external auditor, that also matters a lot. If it is a, if that group has an independence within the organization, fine, then you will have a different experience. For example, if there's an internal audit group, they are internal auditors, they're financial auditors, they're process auditors, but they don't understand technology, so they hire you to conduct the technology, the IT audit, basically. Fine. So because they have the independence to report to the top management, there will not be any hiccups during the audit. And the people, but you will see on the floor, the people are all scared. Man, the auditor is coming, auditor is coming. He may should not find something. Fine. But at the other side, we have also seen where we were engaged by the cybersecurity team to conduct a cybersecurity audit.
Agree.
Fine. So anything we report, fine. So it is going against them.
That's basically the perspective, you know I've seen, my objective was to give them visibility, but that backfired me. So after that, other audits what I face, I keep it simple. I just told them, boss, this is something you have to do. This is how it create a value, instead of just doing
You
any
have
kind
to
of.
make sure that you do not compromise.
Hmm.
Fine. And you are, because you are not being paid by that team, you are being paid by the organization. That organization requires improvement. That's why they're hiring external auditor.
Agree.
Fine. The organization may not even have that maturity that they are hiring through the wrong route. Fine. So, but we have to
Cost.
help them. We have
Cost.
to help them. Fine.
Cost.
So, not only cost, like it's the route is wrong. Basically, the
Yeah.
responsibilities are not given to the right people. Because anything you
Hmm.
report for the cybersecurity, they will see, okay, this is the gap in our working, fine, and it should not be seen. Because I have worked in operations for a decade. Fine. So even I understand. I made sure that there is no external, there is no red flags in any of the external audits. And I always made sure that. And but still, that doesn't mean that my implementation, my operations, my effectiveness, the controls were always perfect. It
Hmm.
was not. It is not possible in any organization.
Okay.
Fine. So how I used to do when I'm doing the when I am managing the internal audits, I used to ask my team to go in detail, to the maximum detail, so that you find everything before the external auditor can find. Fine. And you find the team can fix, and so that external auditor is don't find anything what we don't know. And second is like, so internal audit can be more detailed basically. External audit,
Hmm.
you are coming for 3 days, 5 days, fine, and you have limited time, you can have limited samples. But in internal audit, you can have a detailed audit, you can pick up larger sample size, fine, so that you make sure that yes, I have the sufficient confidence in the system that external auditor may not will not find the failure of the objective, may find some human errors, but will not find that it's a failure of a process.
True.
Fine. So that is the how the things changes in the internal audit versus external audit. But yes, operations are never perfect. You'll always have a finding, and improvements are always there. Like the scope of improvement is always there. But that scope of improvement should be the OFI, opportunity for improvement, not a non-conformity. Fine.
So
This I used to follow.
that is the most important part you said, sir. Like when we're talking about the responses, or the the challenges what we follow, what we see in the companies in terms of reporting and all that, accuracy, governance, experience, that also matter. But
Your relationship also matters.
yeah.
Because
Agree.
if you look at, okay, I find something, I will report to the management in a like kind of escalation mode. So then if people will not, you will not be able to build a relationship with the people. My relation has always been that in my organization, before audit, people themselves used to come to me, say, these are my failures, fine, save us in the audit.
And sir, like, is it, do you think really, like, like when we say in the application development, releasing of, more than development, for us the more concern is all about releasing of the report. Like if as a development, more than source code, the more concern for us to release the application. UAT is the biggest bottleneck. Same like when you say
Mhm.
an audit, reporting is the most important part because your entire work and conclusions comes from the reporting.
Yes. So if the management sees something, what they don't believe in how the organization is in the report, for example, in the
Hmm.
maturity scale, if you're maturing, if you're putting the maturity scale as, let's say, initial, but the management knows that no, I have a confidence that we are mature enough, fine, at least we are managed,
Hmm.
fine. So either you should have a strong justification, find that how you form this opinion, what are the failures, fine, failure in the sense like not put it as a failures, fine, what are the justifications that you are rating them low,
Agree.
fine. So you should justify, fine, and that justification should be valid, fine, they should read and understand. If they do not see, they will just throw away the report that I don't believe this report, this audit was done correctly.
And
So your each and every word, your language, your formatting, your presentation, everything matters when it comes to final reporting.
and grammatical mistakes, English. How critical do you think?
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Hmm. It's
I
like
don't even take interview of the people if I see like one cannot write a two-page resume. How you write a policy?
okay.
I just like 2 days back I've given this feedback to one of my team. You should look at this before aligning an interview.
Hmm. So
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 that
you
way,
mean to
like,
say that so coming to the next question only, sir, like if someone is preparing for JRC interview, IT audits and all that, what kind of a questions normally recruiter ask?
so the recruiter will ask for like how many audits you have conducted, what domains you have conducted audit for, and what
Hmm.
industries you have worked for. And for
Hmm.
example, you have conducted audit for the critical infrastructure domain, or maybe in the IT domain,
Hmm.
in manufacturing, and that type of questions they will ask. And then they will ask your understanding about the audit again, how to conduct the audit, right? And what you will see as a evidence, right?
Hmm.
What is if they may give you scenarios, how do you rate in terms of particular standard? Okay, how do you rate this as a maybe non-conformity, conformity,
Hmm.
right? And they will more or less they will try to I see like your knowledge in the in the controls, right?
Hmm.
Okay, what do you how do you conduct? What are the things you will see when you're
Hmm.
conducting a audit for the backup process,
Okay.
right? Batch management, and capacity management, right? Supplier relationship, and that way they will be asking questions, domain
Okay.
specific
Okay.
and control specific.
So any cheat sheet you have? Two, three questions.
Standard,
God will bless you.
standard, standard.
Okay.
Believe me, standard is not a very big document, fine,
Hmm.
and standard will give the very objective knowledge of conducting audit.
Hmm.
Requirements are given in 27001 if you talk about ISMS, and the guidelines are given in 27002.
Okay.
Fine. If the buying a standard is an issue, then you can download the NIST 853
Hmm.
that is available freely.
Hmm.
Fine, you can download and you can read those controls. That has each and everything what you can look at, fine, what you can ask in the audit.
Understood. And that is how you see the perspective and all that they about the candidate natures in terms of learning and all that, right, sir? Like because in
I'm
governance.
more focused on ISMS here because, like, I believe this is like info sector is more into security, but the
Hmm.
same process goes with the business continuity and data privacy as well.
Okay. But thank you, sir. And when you say about this closing perspective and all that about GRC, so I think it's not something okay you learn in 6 months and you can apply same for 60 years, right? Like the way we talk about other part of cybersecurity, like offensive and defensive.
And that entire IT industry is not like that.
Hmm.
You have to keep uh, learning the new updates, new developments, what is happening in the industry.
That is great.
So
Sir, thank you so much for taking out the time for this particular session. I'm really amazed by the inputs you have shared on some viewpoints. I'm going to divide this entire video into 3 or 4 sections, especially the one which is shown your practical aspects. Then you talk about the perspective about JRC and all that. Do you have any last minute pointer to close this podcast? What is
I
your
will say
message you
first
want to convey to the people? Yeah.
yeah, first have confidence in yourself,
Hmm.
and second, follow the standard. And when you're following a standard, you can easily clear any interview, and
Okay.
because people in this particular domain, people want you to conduct the audits against those standards and frameworks which is popular
Okay.
in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. So you should have the good knowledge of the standards and frameworks. If you are able to prove your knowledge there, you'll have very easy way to pass the interview.
That's a great point, sir. And those who are watching this podcast, do let us know, like, what should be the next podcast with Rahul sir. Like, we got some hint like NIST, we got some hint on the audit work papers, but I want your inputs in the comment box, which help us to improve this podcast much better. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for taking out the time in a weekend. It's not easy to take out the time in a weekend, especially when you're working on the critical projects. And we're looking forward for more sessions from you, sir.
Yeah, I will be ready, and thank you so much for inviting me again. This is the second podcast we are recording
Yeah.
here,
The first is
and
already successful. I'm sure this is also going to be successful.
so I would try to like give the practical perspective so that people learn, people can find easy to enter into the industry and grow. So we are already the people who are about to retire now, so we need more workforce.
Yeah. Don't get offended, team. Those who are watching this video, that's completely fine. So this is all from our side, team. And if you're new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar project, similar podcast. Thank you so much for watching this particular podcast and looking forward for more learning from our side. Thank you so much. Good day.
Thank you
Bye.
so much, everyone. Thank you.